Okay, connects with some one. This one go to I welcome you in my language because that's the first language I knew. And I didn't know how to speak any other till I was 7 years old, and I was forced to go to a residential school. So the first things to go at residential school were my braids and my earrings. And so my role here is to maybe talk about diabetes. But I think what I really want to talk about is hope. And I get to speak to a lot of audiences, and one of them is, I spoke to a couple of high school graduating classes this year. And for me, that made me feel really good to be asked to come and speak first off. And one of them being a school with no native kids in there. It was a school way out in the country in southern Alberta where everybody says it's racist and hillbilly area. But I got invited to come and speak at this place. And I spoke about hope. You know, why are we here if we don't have hope? So that was my message to these young people. Because when we're turning on the TV, we're hating Trump, we're hating Trudeau, we're hating someone because of the way media twists. And they kind of want to direct us into a way or a thought that they support. So my thing is about hope, and where do we find hope? We find it internally, in our body. The same way we're sick, some of us might even be dying. But what do? We can resurrect ourselves by way of going to a physician where he's going to prescribe some pills to us. You never know, it might be just Tic Tacs, I don't know. But we believe that this person has prescribed us magic, and that's going to heal us. The same way where I come from, we call in the medicine people, they come and they give the people of the house to boil these herbs, these medicines. And then they come into the room and they start to have a rattle and a feather, and they burn incense, and they start to chant over this person's body. And the next thing they bring in this cup full of that hot drink. And then they tell that young person or that person that's sick to drink that. You know, there's sweetgrass, mint. You know, I don't want to prescribe the whole medicine here. You guys might not bring me back. No. No, but they prescribe these roots that are found right even in this geographic area. And some of it is laxative. So these people drink it, and they believe this person has come to heal them. But in essence, it's them healing themselves. They convince themselves, and then they expropriate that negative energy out of their body. Is that magic? Or is that believing in oneself? You know, I was a young man, and I was in the Army, so I have a little bit of history with this town. I know a few names of a few bars here in town. I was stationed in Shiloh, Manitoba, which is a little ways from here. I was in the Army in artillery, and I was in there for 4.5 years. And when I got out, I was summoned to do some things. Anybody been to Calgary here? The main freeway that goes north and south is named after my grandfather. It's called the Deerfoot Trail. Everybody hates me because they believe they got into an accident because of my last name, eh? It's a high accident rate because it's high speed on that freeway. But in the early 90s, I dedicated that road to the city. My grandfather asked me, this man raised me. Your grandfather raised me, your great-grandfather. And he showed me a picture of him. a black and white etching of him because we didn't have the cameras. Look at what we have for technology today. And then he had a picture. There's a mall called Deerfoot Mall, and there's a bronze statue of my great-grandfather running. And my grandfather was there. He says, look at, they don't even know who that guy is, and they made an image of him. So he summons me to do some work. And being in the Army, I made roads, bridges, that kind of stuff for Army, and I was in artillery. I shot big cannons and stuff like that. So when I got out, I accepted a job that was being a consultation director in self-government. So my skills were limited in that area because I'm negotiating with government, and the government brings in their lawyers and their word technicians to try and manipulate, to give them power and minimize our rights. So I left and went back to school. But before I did that, my grandfather told me to bring that name back to our community. So in 1990, I dedicated the Deerfoot Trail to the city of Calgary. And that same year, I dedicated that statue with the history of my grandfather on that plaque. Why I share these stories with you is that there's four elders that danced towards me. And they danced around. On the fourth time, they grabbed me and they brought me to the front where there's a buffalo robe. Those four elders said some stories of achievement being in the Army. And the elder that was on the road started to tell me about life and responsibility. And as he did that, he started to put animal fat on his hand. And then he began to put yellow ochre and rub it around. And then he's spitting on his hands 4 times, and I knew where that was going. I wasn't too happy about it. But this man started to rub that paint on my face. But when he started to tell me about that, he started to tell me about all the people that make me who I am. He started to talk about DNA. We all know what DNA is. He says, all of these guardian angels that are on my shoulder, I give them to this young man today. He began to paint my face. And he put more animal fat here, and he put red earth on there, and began to put it on my eyes that I would see the things I need to see. That I would hear the things I need to hear, and then my nose, that this nose would be able to let me know about the fear on the other side of that door. And he wrote a straight line across my mouth that I'm telling you the truth and how it happened that day. And he put circles around my hand, of my hand, and I would use these in a good way. And he kissed me on both of my cheeks, and he took this off of his head and hit me on both shoulders twice, on both sides. And that's how I acquired this hat. This cat is called Saam, medicine hat. So, but the name was changed when John Wayne came along and called it a war bonnet, you know. But amongst our people, we call it a medicine hat. More specifically, this one here is a straight up headdress like that. It was specific to us Blackfoot people. And it had a red plume. I was the leader of the straight up red plume. Was my honor. And the other ones just had straight up. In history doesn't tell of us being in the battle against Custer. But our stories and our ceremonies tell us of these straight-up headdress societies going in. The same way the SEALs, Special Forces, are in the Army. So we were part of the killing of Custer. And we're also very significant in making sure that his body went in many different directions so that he's not put together in the spirit world. That's the most ugliest thing you can do to one's spirit is scatter him in different directions. That man did some things very bad to us, and that was the result. So we were a part of that. Sam Blitz Medicine had. So this one I had it for 7 years, and this year I passed it on. I passed it on. I had it for 7 years. Now the next clan has it for as long as until another group comes forward and requests for those medicines. I'm a parent to that headdress. In 7 years or whenever they transfer, I will be a grandparent to that headdress. I will be able to advise to that particular headdress. So, all of what I'm trying to tell you about hope, we have leaders all across this country. When we pray to the heavens, and this bird, the eagle, takes our messages up into the heavens. The ermine skin, the weasel, all of the animals underground that vegetate are scared of this animal, the weasel. Master above the ground, horsehair, the horse. We can watch probably a race on TV this weekend. After they're done, they're going to spin around and they're going to open their hoods. And they're going to talk about the power they have, horsepower. Ironically, still the master above the ground. These designs here are perpetuated. They're geometric designs. These are beads that were brought in by trade. A lot of our old outfits that I work in a museum also, they're made out of flattened porcupine quills and stained, dyed, and then those colors are woven into these designs. So these designs are hundreds and thousands of years old. You see them in the heavens tonight, you'll see them. So people tell us, how old is your culture? They want to date our culture. They want to know how long we've been around. They've got this barren straight theory, but our stories tell us about, well, we're as long, because our stories tell about those 7 brothers. How long has the Big Dipper been there? If you can find out when it was there, then you'll find out when our societies, our way of life began. These plumes right here are found on the hip of the bird, the eagle. So, if we were going to look for an angel or a saint in any kind of a book, you're going to see that these people have halos. So when we see our leaders, they have this halo. They're summoned to make some really important decisions for us. Stories about medicine, stories about housing, stories about education. It's endless. The economics of our communities. So they're supposed to be guardian angels of our community. And that's what this hat represents. So now I get to the good part. I get to the diabetes part. Aren't you guys excited? Well, I've been a diabetic for about 8 years. I still enjoy playing sports. It hasn't changed my way of life. Yeah. tomorrow when I get out of the plane in Calgary, I got 2 hours before I play hockey. And I've been playing that league for 15 years. I play with it's called Crown Prosecutors, so it's just mostly lawyers and police officers, and I'm the only crook in that. So I come on this team, and it gets pretty physical because people want to beat up the cops and the lawyers, so I kind of have to help them out a little bit, eh? So a lot of people, they don't remember my name, but they remember my elbow, eh? So I enjoy that. And that's what I do for myself. So I'm not going to tell you about the ugliness and the difficulties about being diabetic, because I don't have that. I do not succumb to feeling sorry for myself. I could be someone on the streets of any major city very easily and give up on my life. Or I can wake up every morning and burn an incense and be thankful for my life. I do readings, I do all of that stuff. I have my good and bad days. But certainly it's not going to dictate my life to stay in front of a TV and eat 3 bags of chips and 2-liter pops. No, that's not my life. I want to honor the people that prepared the food today. Let's give them a nice round of applause. That was good food. This is a diet we need to be on. Next Friday, I'll be harvesting 3-year-old bison, and I will be having the high school students in my community help me. And they'll be filming it like we're filming today. I'll have their arms on my shoulder on the smudge to the knife 4 times. We'll pick up that knife, we'll have the smudge, and we'll hold it to the animal 4 times. And with all of their arms on my shoulder, one behind each other, we're going to cut that animal. They're going to be part of the first cut of that animal. They're going to help gut, and they're going to help skin that animal. Who wants to come? Who wants to come? We all want to learn. We all want to learn our way of life. And it's our responsibility for those people behind us that we show them. Too many times, a lot of our ancestors leave this world without that message passed on to us. So I'm trying my best that this way still lives. That they can say, I cut up a bison in my own community. And because of health reasons and all of these other things associated to some of the money we get in our communities, I'll get it professionally. We'll quarter it and we'll professionally bring it to the butcher shop, and we'll professional package it, and we'll bring it to the elders' lodge and different places in the community. But the act of it is that we've done it. We've showed our younger kids. So my topic and my involvement here is about food sovereignty. I was in Osoyoos and I witnessed these people throwing fish out of a basket net with about 6 foot long, and that thing just bending. I didn't know those things were so big, eh? If anybody has seen the salmon that they're harvesting, you get 2 in there and you think that thing's going to snap, so they kind of rock it so that one falls out and they flip it over their shoulder. And I was the one with the bat at the other end. I had the good chance to hit these, I don't know if you call them animals, but I hit the fish in the head, eh? So it was pretty exciting for me because I've never done it before. And our ancestor did that. The energy that we get from the salmon, it's not part of my diet. I'm a prairie Indian. I eat buffalo. But I certainly tried the fish. The best one is the smoked salmon. The other thing is we eat berries. Those berries, that's the first thing we hold up in the air when we thank the Creator for that magic berry. You know, on next Sunday, the 13th, I'll be opening my beaver bundle. There's 2 of every animal in there. It's one of the most ancient bundles amongst my people. People are going to come. They'll get their face painted, and they're going to dance with these animals. They're going to ask to be healed from diabetes. They're going to ask to be healed from cancer. Is it going to happen? Maybe. If that person believes that that animal or those prayers are going to help him, he'll expropriate that negative thing that's growing inside of his body out. I've seen it happen with that headdress that I used to own. So I know the magic that our culture holds. So my words to you is to go back to some people or some relatives in your community, and if not, connect with some people that can show you these ways. And I'm not saying it's the Indian way is the only way. I've been around the world enough to know that healing happens in every part of the world. I know that we all have our ways of healing and calling our spirit. I think I'm going to close with one thing. I've been without food and water for 4 days. And I have the Creator's marks on my body, on my front and my back. And they cut and they put a wooden dowel in here from the choke cherry. The choke cherry is the strongest tree. It might be as thin as this mic. But you put it in here and you tie ropes. It'll hold my weight. It's magic. We tie it up there and we dance to this tree. And we ask this tree, the sacred tree, to help me break so that I don't have to keep doing this. The eagle bone whistle, that's the shoulder bone of the eagle, and it's making that very same sound. And what happens? You see eagles flying around because you're calling them. So as you're doing that, I come from a clan of sacred people or leaders. So I have a buffalo tail, the same way the Africans have a lion tail in their hand. On the other hand, I have an eagle wing. I jump back and my flesh breaks. And you think, why? Even now I think that, geez, I was a dumb guy. Because that's this excruciating pain that you put yourself under. But you do it for your wrongdoings. You do it for your sick mother, what I did. The last time I did was 17 years ago. I'm still living with my mom. I sold my house last year to take care of her in her latter years of her life. So if you're good to people now, you're definitely going to have some people take care of you. It's all about energy. Our world consists on energy. Energy. If you put the right energy now, you can invest in that energy, it'll be reciprocated to you on the back end when you're going to see your Maker. So that's kind of my message. I just kind of wanted to talk to you about hope, and I have much more to say, but I didn't want you guys to fall asleep in here. But I want to tell you guys that my heart is here. My heart is about helping people, because when we die and they cut us open, they're not going to find you there. They're going to find the conversations that you had with other people. If you made people happy, you brought joy into people's life, that's what they're going to remember. If you're bad and you mistreat people, they're going to want to forget about you pretty quick. I hosted TC Energy. They used to be Trans-Canada Pipeline. They renamed themselves so people won't really feel bad about them anymore. But I brought them to my community last week, and I talked to them about culture and history and legislation with Dr. Andrew Barrow. So we talked to them about the ceremonial ritual part so that they would have an understanding of who we are. And then I talked to them about water. If we're 85 to 90% water, why are we fracking and doing things to hurt our future? You know, we can still enjoy tap water here and there, but in a lot of other places you can't, eh? So it's up to us. I'm a grandfather. I want my grandkids to drink good water. You know, and we're all, so what I tell you is look to environment, look to what's there for us. You know, our ancestors went through a lot of difficulties to leave us a legacy of our culture. You know, they survived the residential school. And we're left here with something to hold. And I'll leave you with that thought. So thank you for listening to me and giving me this window to have something to say tonight. Thank you.